everyone, and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making simple steak chili, and what we're going to do is, you can do this all in one pot if you want. I would normally do it in my crock pot. I would cook it on, put it on stovetop, and we're going to brown my meat and onions together. So I have this is for a double recipe, but for you, I'm going to tell you a single, okay? So for you, it would be 1 pound of ground meat. Now, if you're on the detox diet and you're back into the nightshades, you can definitely have this chili, but everything has to be organic, including the meat. No antibiotics in your meat. We're still following through with the detox menu of everything being organic, but now we're going to start adding things in. And how that happens is, for each new thing you add in, you do one a day. So like, 1 for 3 days, sorry. So if you want to start eggs, you would do it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 to 3 times a day for those 3 days. And then you're going to keep track of your symptoms. Are you, congested? Are you hurting? All that kind of stuff. And then you start adding in, nothing happens with that, then we start adding in the other ones. And I'm doing nightshades now. So I can have the tomatoes and beans. I did my beans a while ago. I reintroduced that. And I introduced nuts and legumes. So what we're going to do is, we're just going to brown this. Now when it starts to get brown, when it's almost halfway done, I'm going to throw in my garlic. In here I have 1 whole onion. That would be for you too. Use as much or as little onion as you want. It just needs flavor, so use your judgment on that. I have 5 cloves of very minced garlic, fresh. If you don't want to do that, or you don't like garlic, don't put it in. If you just want to use garlic powder, go ahead and do that too, okay? Just be careful on your salt, because I am going to add a chili packet on top of some other things that I add in here. And the chili packets have a lot of salt in them. So I'm going to let this brown for a few minutes, and then we'll go on to our next step. My meat is halfway done, so now I'm going to throw in my garlic, my fresh garlic. Now, the reason you put that in towards the end is garlic burns really quick, and if you're not really paying attention to it, it'll ruin your whole dish. You cannot bring a dish back after you burn garlic, okay? So we're just going to get this browning, and what I'm going to start doing now is, this is where the steak comes in. I use steak, and what I do is I just cut it into thin chunks, like so. And then I just throw it in. I have some flour in a Ziploc bag, and I have salt and pepper, a good amount, because that's how we're going to season this meat, okay? We're just going to throw that in. And while you're watching me, please subscribe down below to our YouTube channel to help us grow and bring more content to you. And it'll also notify you when new recipes come out, which is usually 3 times a week. Alright, my ground meat is done enough, so I'm going to drain it in a colander. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to let this drain for a few minutes, and I'm going to finish cutting up our steak. Alright, so now we're going to cook our steak. I'm putting a little bit of organic olive oil in, and we're going to get that hot. We're not cooking the steak, we're just browning the steak. It'll cook in the slow cooker. So in this bag, like I said, I have my flour, salt, and pepper, and I just toss the steak pieces in. And I did use round steak. It seems to hold up a little bit better for long-term cooking. Alright. And now what this does too is it helps to thicken your chili. So if you like your chili thickened, then this will really be good for you. The only thing is, if you don't like it as thick as when it comes out, you can either add water, tomato juice, or chicken broth, or beef broth, whatever. So what you're going to do is you're going to shake off the excess flour and just start sticking these in your pan. Like I said, you could do all of this in the crock pot. I didn't because my cord wouldn't fit over here. Okay, and don't overcrowd your pan. Just let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute. And then you keep flipping them so they'll turn kind of a crunchy brown is what you're looking for, okay? Alright, so now I have browned the steak on all sides. See, it's just a little crispy, that's what you're looking for, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to try and not get too much of that olive oil in your chili. So I just kind of do this, and I'm just putting it straight into my pan that I'm going to be doing the whole chili in. Now you can use as much or as little or none of the steak if you don't want steak. You can use any kind of steak you have at home. It really doesn't matter. It just adds a different texture and flavor to the chili. Need to put a little more olive oil in my pan. Alright, so our ground beef is all strained out, so I'm going to put it in the crock pot with the steak. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, now I'm using 2 cans of organic black beans and 2 cans of organic Great Northern beans. Now use whatever beans you want. If you're on the detox, it has to be organic, but if you like kidney beans, put them in. We don't like kidney beans here, so I'm just putting in those. And I'm going to check and see how this looks with everything when it comes together and see if we have to add more. And I'm also using organic tomato sauce, and these are 15-ounce cans. I'm going to put 3 in and see where we go. I also am going to add some water, because if you rinse your beans, then you don't have that liquid to put in to make up for the liquid that you'd be losing when you do drain them, see? So I drain mine and rinse my beans because they kind of taste like the dirt if you don't. To me they do. Alright, I'm just going to stir this a little bit. Let me grab a better spoon. And you want it a little bit runny because when it cooks, it will thicken up. I can tell that's not enough tomato sauce for sure. So we'll add another one. And I got this, the organic tomato sauce at Costco. It was really, really reasonable. You can also add, if you're not on the detox diet, you can also add tomato soup, Campbell's tomato soup to this, and add your seasonings. It's just as good. Okay. Alright, so I added 2 more cans of tomato sauce, and I'm going to go from there. I'm adding 2 packages of McCormick chili seasoning. Now, the reason I do this is because it has everything in it, and I also add extra chili powder. I'm using 2 because I doubled this recipe, remember, but you can do whatever you want to do with how much you want to use, or make your own seasoning. And I'm going to add some chili powder, a good amount, because you really want this to taste like chili. Okay, and I'm just going to start adding a little bit of water at a time. You don't want it like soupy. You want it a little bit runnier than a stew, I would say, but not as runny as a soup. But if you like yours runnier, then add more liquid. If you like it thicker, then don't add any more liquid. This is all up to you. There's really no measurements. You cannot screw up chili. As long as you have enough chili powder and seasoning in it, you can't ruin it with the beans and the sauce. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more of my chili powder. Now you can add red chili flakes if you want to. You can add any kind of peppers. We don't do a lot of hot stuff here, so I didn't add anything hot. But you can use like jalapenos in it. You can use green peppers, whatever. And now I'm going to add a little bit more water. You'll feel it kind of loosening up. You want it right when it just starts loosening up, and I can feel that now. If you see that it's getting way too thick for you, go ahead and add water while it's cooking, but make sure you add a little more seasonings to it to make up for that liquid that you're adding. Because remember, liquid dilutes flavor. Alright, so I added about 1 cup of water to this. And I'm going to let it go. I'm going to put it on and let it go and start, we'll taste it halfway through cooking. Now, you can cook it on low for 8 to 10 hours or on high for 5 to 7 hours. So if you put this all together the night before you leave for work, just stick it in the crock pot when you leave for work and you'll have dinner ready when you get home. Alright, so here's our finished chili. I did add a little bit more chili powder, and I added some hot sauce to ours towards the end of cooking, and that way you can taste it and see if it needs more or not. Now it's really thick and rich. It's delicious. I put some cheddar cheese on top with some fresh raw onion. You could put sour cream on top. You can mix this with rice or noodles, whatever your heart desires. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.
The chili is excellent.
This is not a paid actor.
This is not a paid actor. Viscosity is perfect. A little bit of cheese and onions, it's perfect. It's not too spicy, mellow, good flavor.
Out of 1 to 10, would you rate it?
It's got to be an 8.5.
All right.
It could have been spicy.
It could have been spicier?
Yes,
All
I
right.
concur. But when it's too spicy, it kills it.
But it's great. Great chili.